There we go. Everyone see my screen? Yes? Okay, great. This pen works differently than my old one. Gotta get used to that. Okay, so let's look out at the year ahead for 2026, but we're looking back as if it already happened. There's some unexpected changes that are coming through here. Like you definitely couldn't plan for this. Took you by surprise. But it made you, like, gave you, it's like there's a resilience and confidence that you got out of this that you wouldn't have had before. So looking back, it's like, you can see why your soul created this for you. But at the time, it doesn't feel like that. So just know that when this big event comes, like this is really a time for you to shine. This is where you step into your gifts in a way you haven't before. This is where your light is needed in a way it hasn't before. So this is like what you've been preparing for this whole time. So yes, there's that. So questions arise while I'm taking, saying stuff, write them down and I can answer them later. We can go into them more deeply. There's some travel ahead. I'm speaking as if it's coming, but I'm looking back as I'm reviewing it. So there's some travel. There's an overseas trip for somebody. And then there's also, I see someone with medical stuff. So like you're in the hospital, nothing serious, nothing to worry about. But I do see someone going to either visiting someone in the hospital. It looks like more, but there's a hospital setting here. And then I also see a book coming through. So if any of you have been thinking about writing a book, this is the time where there will be space and time for you to start writing that. There's also a time of greater trust in yourself. You're really connecting with your intuition a lot more than you ever have before. And you'll find that people come out of nowhere seeking your, support, and I would say advice, but I would use the word support as a better option there. Oops. I'm still not used to this new iPad and the way everything works. So let's go month by month here. So January, not much of a change. This is really going to be a time for self-care. So really take time for yourself. Don't feel pressure to, say yes to everybody. Say yes to yourself 90% more than you have in the past. And this is going to be a big theme for this coming year. It's self-care, but it's even more than that. It's like self-appreciation, self-love. Like it's the most important relationship you have with yourself. And this is going to be the year where you really start to dedicate yourself to that relationship that you haven't really cultivated before. So you're going to have a lot of invitations to go inside. So say yes to those and take time for yourself to say yes to those, even if it's, an hour out of your day. Like make these dates with yourself. What I'm seeing here is the more that you fall in love with yourself, so to speak, the more radiant you become naturally, and it will attract the right people and opportunities your way that you're seeking to attract in your life. It's going to create a level of magic that you haven't experienced before. So this self-care, this self-love, this self-appreciation, it needs to come from you more than it needs to come from everybody else. This is where we're going to be tipping the scales this year from outer reflections to inner reflections. It's going to be not a deeply inward year like that, but it's going to be, you're going to be paying attention to that. You're not going to be placing your value upon yourself as you have based on your conditioning and programming and based on what you're perceiving in the outer world. You're going to be more resourced within. So that's January. February, there's a little bit of like adventures, little trips, little travel, dates, things like that, like nice restaurants. You're going to be taking yourself out as well, not just being taken out by others or taking other people out. Like you're going to be learning to treat yourself better than you've ever treated yourself before, however that looks. And you're going to be treated better by others in response to the way you're treating yourself. This is going to be a really powerful lesson. What was once important to you, or what has been important to you for many years, or maybe even your lifetime, is no longer as important. These things are just going to start falling away naturally. There's no effort involved in this transformation. It's just a natural extension or expression of where, the focus on you that you're putting on yourself this year. And it's not selfish. It's self-fulfilling. March, pretty quiet. There's like a transition happening here in March. This is where it's like right before the upgrade happens. So it might seem like a little quiet. There might be a pause here. Just really embrace whatever is arriving in your life, whatever is showing up. Embrace it. Really notice if you're resisting it, and just recognize that everything is happening in response to your soul and your heart guiding you to the place that you are seeking to be. This is how you're going to get there. So when you're, loving yourself, appreciating yourself, really listening to your heart, this is your heart leading the way. So March is going to feel a bit quiet, but there's a lot more happening. It's right before, spring, is about to arrive. There's going to be a lot of energy following that. So there's stuff happening beneath the surface, and just be in the pause. Embrace all the pauses. Embrace all the pauses, whether there's a pause in the day, whether there's a pause in the month, whatever it is, embrace the pause, because that's things happening outside of your conscious awareness that is recalibrating for you to be in that next state of where your heart is getting you to and calling you to, which is already there. You're already there. Everything is just fine-tuning your awareness to recognize that you are already there rather than seeing where you are not. So that all of this inward kind of focus is showing you that you're going to discover that you've been there all along, And then we might have to do some clearing around forgiving yourself for not recognizing that sooner, right? Like, why did it take me so long to get this? Why, I know that I'm in the way. Maybe I recognize it at another level now, but how come I couldn't get out of the way sooner? So this is where we're going to do some work and clearing around being, forgiving and compassionate to ourselves for not knowing the way, because we didn't see how we were in the way. We didn't see the part of us that was in the way couldn't get itself out of the way. So we had to come from a different angle to do that. But you're here now, so you are understanding how to get out of the way. You have more tools and resources to get out of the way, and your heart will lead you to that very place, which is now. So April, I feel love in the air for April. New relationships coming in. Old ones might fade away or transform as a result of the work you're doing. Like wherever there was like a barrier or something between two hearts, there will be more of an understanding and love and connection. Like a new relationship will grow out of the old ones. Like it'll take on a new life. So this is, April's really about relationship. And here's like, just be aware if you find yourself falling back into old patterns. It won't be to the same degree, but This is really where all the work that you've been doing at the beginning of the year is going to come into play, so you can continue to embody your authenticity and being true to yourself, being true to your heart in connection with any other being. You're not going to lose yourself. You're not going to lose your identity. You're going to meet new people who are going to reflect this new identity, which is really your I am. They're going to meet you in that place and want to hear what you have to say. People are going to want to hear what you have to say, kind of going back to what we were talking about at the beginning. So you'll be surrounded by some new people, and the people that you have been surrounded by, those relationships will either fall away or become more enriched. And then there's a new job coming. And it's going to happen without any real effort. They're just going to start coming to you. So your magnetic, your magnetism is going to be elevated, all by the work that you were doing at the beginning of the year. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so we are in April. Let's go through May. So May is going to be fun. Like, you're going to be able to really just have fun. You've been working hard, so hard, and everything seems like a lot of work. And you're going to realize that it doesn't have to be a lot of work anymore. That really, the secret to all of it is having fun and doing what brings you joy. And so you're going to realize that as you begin to focus more on yourself, right? So when you start to go inwards more, it's going to realize it's going to be because those things bring you joy. So, but this is where the joy becomes more outwardly expressed. I think I might need another page here. Okay. Summer, June, July, August are coming in together. Not a lot of activity per se, they're coming in together. Big change here. What does that change look like? It seems like the change feels more like a revelation about yourself. That's one of the big parts of the change. There's going to be a move for somebody here. These are all positive changes, though, that I'm seeing. Not like earlier on where it felt like there was some stuff going on that could be a little more challenging. This also could be the place where when I was looking back, there was stuff going on. You're going to need to slow down when you think that you need to pick up speed. So every time you feel yourself needing to pick up speed, then slow down a little bit more. So you really don't miss anything, and you'll get better reception of your intuitive self. You'll be able to understand more clearly what's happening. There's a part of you that likes to create chaos and confusion. It's like as soon as you get close to the things that you want, then, there's a part that likes to create chaos and confusion. So be aware of this part, because there's a place here that's still that needs some more support, and we'll do some of that clearing. It's like, yeah, I'm getting what I want, and now I'm going to blow it all up. Somehow. Something will happen, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be that way, though. Underlying that is fear. So the invitation is, again, to go inside, go to the heart, go to the heart, go to the heart, go to the heart. Summer. So summer's pretty quiet in a lot of ways, but then there's changes. So, you know, has an interesting quality to it. We'll see if we can elaborate on that a little bit more. September feels really like, oh, okay, I came through that. I feel stronger. I feel more myself. I feel like I got a lot of myself back through that process that I didn't know was fragmented or fractured. You have a new sense of direction. And new ideas, which are going to help others. So it's like almost you had to go through the trenches so you could be there to serve others. Now, you need to experience it yourself. Let's put it that way. Sometimes we learn best through experience. I would say all of us probably learn best through experience, whether we, make changes based on that. That's another pattern or story there. But this is something you wanted to experience so you can better be of service to others who are seeking your light. It's going to kind of crystallize some things for you. Doors opening here. Doors opening. Okay. Let's go. October, November are coming in together. Is this the same color? Yep. So this is October, November, kind of similar color as the summer. So it might be, you're going to revisit another part of that pattern. Like loose ends, unfinished business, just kind of making sure you get it all cleaned up. Okay, and then the end of the year, December. And there's a sense of feeling renewed and proud of yourself, of all that you've accomplished. And when you look back, you realize it wasn't really that challenging after all. You're like, the idea felt challenging maybe right now with all the unknowns floating around and what that might look like or feel like. How am I going to do all of that? But it's already done. And so there's going to be kind of an awareness of just stepping into what's already done rather than having to do. It's a much different way of creating, of relating, of being, right? Because we're used to we're trapped in time. But when we operate from these timeless places, we really experience more of the magic of who we are as creators. And what shows up is it's very magical. And so really focusing yourself on yourself, your attention on yourself is going to unlock those doors. So in the beginning, it's it's going to be like an accelerated education in a way, but it's going to happen quickly, but you're going to catch on quickly because it's who you are naturally. So that once you cultivate this relationship with yourself, with your heart, you're going to want more of that. And you're going to want to share that with more people. It's just a natural, result of being who you are authentically and being in your heart and living with an open heart. And, a lot of people are going to really benefit from that, not just you. And so looking back on the year, here we go. Looking back on the year. Yep, that's the whole year. Looking back, things aren't going to go as you planned, but when do they ever? But just embrace what arises. Embrace what arises. Embrace the pauses. Embrace what arises. When you meet the day, embrace the day. Embrace the day. Embrace yourself. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. This is the year of self. This is a year of self-focus, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love, self-appreciation, self-worth. It is going to be the result of all of those things, okay? And in doing so, it's going to clear away what's between you and your own heart. which is the work that we've been doing together, but it's really the energy is going to be really supportive of that. Like your dreams will come true. Dreams you didn't even know you had will come true. They just are going to happen effortlessly as a result of you, living from your heart. That's all you need to do. Of course, there's actions that naturally, one takes from that place. It's not a passive experience. It's an active experience, but it's an aligned active experience. So it's about going within. Okay, that was a mouthful. I'm going to pause here.